This is your local forecast, and stay tuned. The national outlook is just ahead in our 5-day planner. The Weather Channel. No place on Earth has better weather.
This segment of the 5-Day Business Planner is brought to you by Kelly Services, your employment source.
Well, here's a look at our departure for normals. We will be getting right back into the forecast and what's going on. Of course, winter has arrived a few days earlier. We have the blizzard conditions to the north. We have snow visiting the south from Louisiana northward up through the Appalachians. East Coast, it's warm. Check out these readings. 20, 30 degrees above the average. Pretty mild, wasn't it? Well, I would say yes if you consider 49 for the low around New York City. We have 45 degrees this morning around Boston. A little bit colder. For instance, it was colder this morning in Brownsville, 36, and we had 31 in Montgomery. Then colder than northern Maine at Caribou. So some cold air plunging southward. 20s and single digits all the way down into Texas. Some of those lows were records. Pueblo, Colorado down to -19, El Paso down to 6, Lubbock 6 also. Tombstone, Arizona, how about that? 18 degrees. Wow, that is pretty cold. Checking the latest temperatures, shaping up near 40 degrees right through here. That's that critical rain snow line that we're going to be looking at today around New Orleans. Looking at 41 degrees, but as the precipitation continues to fall and colder air makes its way in from the northwest, you're going to see some snow today. I know it doesn't happen very often, but today's one of those days. From New Orleans back over to Mobile and Pensacola over to Tallahassee, you may see some of this frozen precipitation as well. Birmingham going to see some. Atlanta, you're going to see some snow probably by rush hour, probably, then into tonight for sure. Farther to the north, something of a different story. We do have snow, but I think more than the snow, it's the blowing snow and also just the plain cold readings. 0 in Rapid City, Bismarck down to a -7, the wind chill -51. I was checking out some of the other readings, some of the wind chills as low as -60 degrees in northern North Dakota. So bitterly cold air coming right down the pipe, right down from Canada. For Florida, what's the effect? It's going to get cold for the northern third of the state. Not to say it's not going to chill out the rest of the state, but the brunt of the cold air this time, not plunging down to the Gulf of Mexico, sort of heading right down to the northern Gulf, then scooting on by. So for instance, down to Fort Myers and over to Miami, it'll get cooler. But the coldest of the weather, it's going to stay northward. Forecast for today, snow from Birmingham back to Mobile, New Orleans, right over to Montgomery, Macon, Georgia, probably seeing a little bit by tomorrow morning. Atlanta, your heaviest snow is coming tonight, probably sometime after dark and maybe up past midnight. That's when your heaviest is coming in. Several inches accumulation likely. Then up through the Appalachians, some snow, but over to New York City and Baltimore, some rain. Probably changing over to snow, especially a little bit farther to the southwest. Still the rain hugging the New England coast with that warm air being pushed right on in. Snow showers continue in Wisconsin down to around Chicago, also into the northern Rockies. Snowfall amounts, look at this stripe all the way down to the Gulf Coast. We just don't see this happening very often, especially into December. Some heavy lake snows. Temperatures are going to be bitterly cold. Look at these readings for your Thursday. Teens from St. Louis and Kansas City over to Indianapolis, and the cold air sticking around. stretching from Cleveland back to Detroit, Cincinnati, 20s down to Birmingham and Atlanta for Friday. Slight warm-up. The Southwest a little bit milder, even 70s in the forecast, and 80s coming up. Big changes coming up for the Northwest. Check this out for this weekend. Snow for the interior, much colder air, so Sunday and Monday, our focus shifts back to the west with more snow coming in, maybe Seattle. Coming up shortly, local conditions.
If you're making any full-time hiring decisions, we'll find the best candidate and then let you evaluate them for up to 90 days on the job before you hire them. It's called Kelly Select, and it works. Call 1-800-YES-KELLY to find out more. Kelly Services, your staffing source.
Think of it as the world's thinnest service manual. It's the Valvoline Instant Oil Change MVP card. Your computerized access to the maximum vehicle performance system that follows your car manufacturer's oil, filter, and fluid recommendations. MVP. Available only at Valvoline Instant Oil Change. You can depend on us.
Pick up your MVP card at the Valvoline Instant Oil Change nearest you.
Introducing the amazing patented O-Ratchet that lets you do hundreds of jobs quickly and easily. Even expensive deep sockets can't reach a nut on a long bolt, but O-Ratchet lets any length bolt pass through the hollow hex drive. O-Ratchet's low-profile head easily reaches into tight spots, so it's great for automotive use. Build a fence, assemble exercise equipment. It's ideal for most household jobs. O-Ratchet comes with a lifetime replacement warranty. The 12-piece O-Ratchet with carrying case, only $29.99. As a TV bonus, you get this pass-through 3-inch extension and 5/16 socket, perfect for recessed applications. The patented O-Ratchet. Get an extra set for garage or car. We know you don't have one because there's never been anything like it. Order now.
For rush delivery, get your credit card ready and call 1-800-543-6800. That's 1-800-543-6800. Or send your check or money order to the address on your screen. Call now.
Available at Sears and Sears Hardware stores.
Stay ahead of winter with one complete forecast. The Winter Weather Update at 50 past the hour only on the Weather Channel.
This holiday countdown sponsored by Skill Power Tools. Think of all the things that you can do. Well, yeah, ho, 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 7 days left, and no joke here. And I was talking to my director, Barry Johnson. I said, hey, are you one of these power tool type of people? He said, no way. I need somebody to hang a picture for me. So I think that's probably right up the alley what you need to put on Santa's list there. Anyhow, for today, holiday shoppers from Birmingham down to New Orleans, some snow. Atlanta, you're going to see some too. And it's going to be around for a while because the deep freeze coming in. Already through the plains, it has been rough for days now in the central plains, northern plains. Look at the readings today. A lot of frozen packages out there, I'm sure, with single digits, wind chills well down in the -30s to -50s. Probability of white Christmas, it's looking pretty good to the north, even down through the southern Appalachians. We'll talk much more about southern snow and cold next.
Skill Power Tools have what it takes to make jobs so easy. You'll find time to tackle all kinds of things. Skill Power Tools. Think of all the things you can do.
Ahead on WeatherScope, will the South have a white Christmas? We'll have the latest, plus a look at the rest of the nation, coming up on WeatherScope after your local forecast.
This is your local forecast. Weather information you can plan on, only on the Weather Channel. This is a special edition of WeatherScope. Up-to-the-minute forecasts and comprehensive coverage of the nation's weather from the Weather Channel forecast team.
Hey, good afternoon. Bill Keneely with you in the Weather Channel Forecast Center. We are watching everything meshing together now, and it will be quite a mesh on the roadways tomorrow, I think. We're looking at snow developing as far east as Mobile, Alabama. 34 and snowing at a pretty good clip now in Mobile, right along Interstate 10. But I-10, I think, will not be the big problem areas. I-20, Birmingham to Atlanta, that could be a major hassle later on tonight and tomorrow. Staying at Fayetteville, Arkansas, these are scenes from yesterday afternoon, very cold air. Not a whole lot of snow, not a whole lot is needed, though, to cause this. As you can see, a dusting of snow causing some major headaches for the travelers up there in northwest Arkansas in the land of the Razorbacks. Let's take a look at our current map, see what's going on out there. There is high pressure building in, bitter cold air. Last night, 19 below zero, right there, that dot at Pueblo, Colorado. How about 6 above zero in El Paso, Texas last night? And then again, you have this propellant, this bitter cold air, rotating counterclockwise around the low and clockwise around that high, driving, thankfully, drier air in to places such as Nashville and Tupelo and Monroe, Louisiana. So any snow that falls here will be very, very light, but also driving in very, very cold air as well. Let's show you that water vapor imagery now. And we have that rather sharp trough of low pressure across this area in the upper atmosphere. And we're seeing the subtropical jet stream starting to work its magic, driving up moisture over the Alabama and the Georgia Piedmont right now. Then we have a little upper air disturbance rotating around. And as this low comes around, it's going to start kind of backing the winds, if you will, so the moisture source will be coming up more from a due south direction as opposed to a southwest direction. That's going to bring in a richer supply of moisture, we think, to eastern Alabama, Georgia, and eventually the Carolinas overnight tonight. Here is the Arctic front. That's your Arctic front. This is a leading edge of cooler air. Behind here, it's no bargain. We have temperatures in the upper 30s and raining in the Florida Panhandle now. It looks as though temperature about 43 in Tallahassee and running in the mid-60s in the Ocala area. That's probably going to be our storm track along that temperature gradient. So later on tonight, low pressure, another low is going to form on this front and probably track something like this. And as it does, it will be far enough down the Piedmont to drag whatever that Arctic air is, drag it into the Atlanta area. So we're thinking it's going to be pretty much an all-snow event now for Atlanta, or maybe a little sleet thrown in the beginning, then a rapid transition back to all snow. So don't be fooled by that 41 now. Clouds are coming in. They will lower and thicken, and the temperature is pretty much capped out now for the day. 39 in Birmingham. And even here now, it's 39, but I'm suspecting we're not going to start with rainfall in central Alabama. Satellite picture shows our nice morning collapsing on us now. A little bit of dry air still in North Georgia and East Tennessee. Let's show you the other satellite vantage point. We mentioned that subtropical jet stream starting to coax up that moisture as it comes in on the heels of the southwest wind. Also, these areas in the darker blue and the orange, these are depicting higher cloud tops, and they are pretty much in correlation with areas of heavier rainfall at this hour in the Florida Panhandle and southeast Alabama. This is an interesting radar. We can depict now the sleet falling into the New Orleans area. Gulfport and Biloxi, by the way, both reporting some sleet and rain mixed in. Not showing the true analysis here, obviously, as Mobile is now all snow right about here. Now, remember, the Arctic front is about here. And behind it, this is truly Arctic air, so we're getting all snow now. It is light in eastern Louisiana, central Mississippi, now getting into western areas of Alabama. And by the way, at the top of the next hour, we'll be talking to officials with the state of Alabama, where they have declared a state of emergency for tonight into the daytime on Thursday. As far as the forecast now, here's our take. Watch for the snowfall. We may cut back on this New Orleans situation, and I'd watch a little bit over towards Mobile and Bay Minette, Alabama now. But we're fairly certain there's going to be some decent snow, maybe even from Mount Cheaha, east of Birmingham, up into northern Georgia. Somebody in here is going to see 3 to 5 inches. The Atlanta area, it's going to be interesting. Maybe 2 inches in town, maybe 3 to 4 to the north and northeast of the city. As far as the upper Midwest goes, thankfully it's not falling that much, but it's blowing and it's drifting like crazy. We have video to show you now. Let's take you to, I believe we're going to go to Fargo first of all, then we're going to go to Minneapolis, St. Paul. Just a harrowing picture out here, not fit for man nor beast, virtually no visibility. Parts of Interstate 29, which runs north-south, were shut in the Red River, and likewise, there you go, there's a shut roadway and also down in the Twin Cities area. Interstate 94 and I-35 come together, and they were truly bottlenecked yesterday, as we had seen in this morning's rush hour. No gem either. Still some road snowfall on the roadways there, but it looks as though we should be getting a little better in the fact that not much snow will fall here. Let's show you what's happening on that map once again. In the upper Midwest, still some very strong winds. Again, the wind blows clockwise around high pressure, counterclockwise around low pressure, and the funneling is right in here. We're looking at primarily north and northwest winds, 20 to 40 miles per hour, cutting the visibility. Interstate 94, by the way, heads up this way, and that is a crosswind coming in some cases, and that's just cutting the visibility down to next to nothing. These are the air temperatures. This is dangerous stuff, folks. 3 below in Sioux Falls, 4 below in Fargo. Throw in the element of that 20 to 40 mile per hour wind, and you get wind chills that are virtually off the scale. 54 below Fargo, even 31 below is how it feels in Des Moines, and how about 10 below in St. Louis? Chicago, you're dodging a bullet again. Not much snow is going to fall, but it will turn bitterly, bitterly cold. And believe me, in the south, after we lay down that blanket of snow, watch out as the skies clear tomorrow and especially on Saturday morning. For more on the forecast up the coast, let's turn it back to Rich.
All right, thank you, Bill. We'll head off to the west coast, and we have some scenes to show you. The Santa Ana winds causing some problems in California. Check this out. Santa Ana's started a fire that got out of control for a while, although the fire is now under control. 2 500,000-volt power lines were blown to the ground by the dry winds. Over 200 residents were forced to evacuate their homes while the fires raged on. Again, most of the active flames died down by late last night. Just some tremendous scenes there. On the west coast, well, as your friends in the east are enjoying the nice, chilly, frigid freeze out here, conditions not so bad. It's certainly a lot drier, too. This ridge of high pressure, I think you can see the way these clouds are moving over this ridge. Don't worry, you're going to get your shot of wintry precipitation coming in the end of this weekend, early next week. So if you're laughing at your friends in the east, it's going to be heading to the west. I'll show you what I mean in our forecast. Here's the west under high pressure. Latest forecast looks like this, showing what we are going to expect. Let's have a look right at that, Barry, as we start our forecast. And for this afternoon, Bill just updated us on the snow that we're expecting continuing into tomorrow morning. The big cities in the east, lots of rain from this one, maybe ending as snow as that low pressure center pulls on out. Certainly the interior is going to get shellacked with this one too. Right on back into the lake areas, we're looking for snow, especially into Wisconsin. Snowfall amounts locally heavy in the south. Any snow in the south, locally heavy. Farther to the north, Keweenaw Peninsula looking tough here with some big snows coming in. Temperatures will be chilling down still in the south, but it's staying cold in the north. Some brutal weather conditions. Some lows in the minus teens and highs in the teens as far south as Memphis, pretty far to the south. In the southwest, 60s. Into Florida, the cool down, some 50s and 60s, but down to Miami and over to Fort Myers. For the weekend, some 70s, and you know what? It's going to head back into the 80s. Look at the cold air in the west, though, which is slowly the pendulum swinging back again. We'll start out with some mix and rain. Looks innocent enough, but it's cold air stays in place. Snow for Idaho, maybe back to Seattle, maybe by Sunday, then right on into Monday. This is a mess, so we have our hands full here the week before Christmas. Coming up shortly, we'll have a look at your European forecast for you.
Research shows starter log gets the fire blazing first time, every time, even if your wood is a bit damp. Starter log wood fire starter. This is how you start a fire.
The weather guys were right. It's raining. Naturalizer Cold Weather Collection. Put them in your forecast.
Look for Naturalizer cold weather boots at this fine retailer.
This is your local forecast. Information you can plan on, because now we show it on the 8s of every hour. Local on the 8s on the Weather Channel.
Introducing something revolutionary from Sunbeam. Steam. Perfect steam. More steam than other leading irons. And with just a touch, an extra shot of steam is there for you every 2 seconds. With this much steam, you can iron even the toughest fabrics perfectly. Or the most delicate fabrics perfectly. That's because Sunbeam's new Steam Master Iron is unlike other irons. When they're set at lower temperatures, like when you're ironing delicate fabrics, you don't get a lot of steam. You do get a lot of drips and stains. But the Steam Master has a uniquely designed steam chamber that virtually eliminates dripping. So regardless of the fabric, you get perfect steam. And plenty of it, no matter what you're ironing. The new Sunbeam Steam Master Iron. Just call this toll-free number for more information in the store nearest you. And introduce yourself to steam. Perfect steam. Sunbeam. Now there's a bright idea.
Know what to expect. Watch our 5-day planner 20 minutes after every hour on the Weather Channel. No place on Earth has better weather.
Here's our international weather. We'll start out with the big picture here. And many times the weather systems move from the U.S. right on over to Europe, and we still have some weather just off the coast. Have a look at this. Yeah, plenty of weather too. This one storm system right here. Look how this one is sort of pivoting on in right up through the Bay of Biscay, heading into France. Latest conditions, well, 50s the past 24 hours in France, so it's warmed up some. Still 30s for the interior, 40s to near 50 into England. London high yesterday, 45 degrees, 48 at Paris. Right now, it's 50 at London. So overall, hey, not so bad. Chance of showers, though. This time of year, take the umbrella along as the next storm. It's perched off the coast. You can see that. That's for midday Thursday. Eventually, the storm's coming on in, so it would be an excellent idea to take the rain gear along, too. Jet stream carrying the storms right from us over to Europe. Temperatures look like this. We have some 40s from England all the way back over toward France. Netherlands back into the 40s, but once you make your way over to around Frankfurt and Copenhagen, that's where we start dropping off. So don't look for too much of a change on the temperatures coming up over about the next couple of days. Well, coming up next, we have our holiday countdown. I know a lot of you still need to do some holiday shopping. We'll have a look at the forecast for this afternoon, including a little bit of a talk about some unusual weather conditions in the south.
Where do germs live that surround your gums and teeth? Plaque. Think you're immune? Take the plaque scratch test. Scratch a tooth up by your gum line. We won't look. That film is plaque. It's a magnet for germs. That's why you should remove it with advanced formula plaques. The only brand proven to remove more plaque before you brush and thousands of germs with it. Remove plaque and germs with advanced formula plaques.
Prudential has helped protect and support families for over 120 years. With the largest capital base of any life insurance company in America, we've always been there for families, paying over 85 million claims. Today, Prudential touches 1 out of every 5 people in America. People think we have quite a history, but all we've ever really done is help insure the future. The Rock, we've been there, we'll be there.
The big one, the big one.
The beauty.
Wow, that is spectacular.
The danger.
been so scared of my life.
The Weather Channel presents one of the most fascinating videos you'll ever see. Tornado Chase 96. Call 1-800-626-9477 to order rare, never-before-seen footage of the year's most spectacular storms.
There's debris! Debris!
Tornado encounters from storm chasers all across the United States.
Car just got flipped over. Get in the ditch.
Incredible accounts of tornado survivors.
You just can't imagine the intensity of it.
Tornado Chase 96. To order, call 1-800-626-9477 or send $19.95 plus $3.95 shipping and handling to the address on the screen. Call now.
This holiday countdown is sponsored by the Dremel Multi-Pro tool. Don't settle for some 2-bit Christmas gift. All right, 7 days left. Not much more time, is there? No, and especially considering that not much time left with some snow that's going to be on the ground, and have a feeling that's why Santa's laughing watching everybody scramble the last few days to get those last gifts. Well, we have lots of snow, certainly some bitterly cold air up across the plains. That cold air has made its way right down through Texas. Now the snow, places like Louisiana, Mississippi, over to Alabama, into Georgia, even northwest Florida, going to see some snow out of this one. High temperatures today, not too good. You can see the readings here, not counting wind chills. The wind chills are unbearable across the northern plains. Probability of white Christmas, yeah, it's looking pretty good. Coming up shortly, much more about the snow.
Presenting the Dremel Multi-Pro. You cut, Dremel cuts. You sharpen, Dremel sharpens. You polish, Dremel polishes. You drill, Dremel drills. You clean, Dremel cleans. You sand, Dremel sands. You grind, Dremel grinds. You hammer. Did I mention we cut? The Dremel Multi-Pro. With up to 30,000 RPM, it has the speed you need to power through hundreds of jobs. Now with 5-year warranty.
Behold, a technological breakthrough for humanity. Over the elements. Prestone Windshield De-Icer Washer Fluid. Unlike many blue washer fluids that can freeze, Prestone is de-icer fluid. It guarantees it won't freeze in your reservoir and guards against refreeze on your windshield. Prestone De-Icer Washer Fluid. See clearly in the Prestone zone and wipe out ice in your lifetime.
Prestone Windshield De-Icer Washer Fluid. It turns your windshield wiper into a windshield scraper.
WeatherScope. It's all the weather you want. Every 30 minutes on the hour and half hour on the Weather Channel.
You're not with AT&T, are you?
No, I'm not.
So, are you happy?
Not really.
I was happier with AT&T. Well, we're making it simple to come back. How'd you like to get 100 free minutes just for switching to AT&T? That would be wonderful.
That's a real gift.
Well, there's a lot more. Introducing the new AT&T one-rate plan. Just 15 cents a minute on calls from home to anybody, anytime, anywhere in America.
That's great. It's a flat rate, anytime, anybody, anywhere.
I'm going to presume there's going to be a charge involved.
No, it's free.
It's even better.
No fees, no minimum spending, no time requirements, no restrictions, no games.
You can't beat that.
Call 1-800-YES-2-ATT. You'll get one low rate plus 100 free minutes for switching to AT&T. So what do you think?
I think the 100 free minutes is awesome.
The one-rate plan is excellent.
There's no restrictions, no limits.
So what are you going to do?
Pick up the phone and switch to AT&T.
One rate, 100 minutes. Call 1-800-YES-2-ATT to switch.
This is your local forecast. Information you can plan on, because now we show it on the 8th of every hour. Local on the 8s on the Weather Channel. Weather Channel. No place on Earth has better weather. Forecasts from the Weather Channel are also available from the following.
Well, good afternoon to you. Time for a look at our wintry weather out there, and a couple different things going on. Of course, the blizzard conditions that have been through the plains, and just plain very cold air right down through the central part of the country. Other stories are a little bit of southern snowstorm eventually winding up in the northeast. Trough of low pressure, Canadian air coming straight on down the jet stream, guiding some of that cold air up toward Alaska and northwest Canada. Straight down the pipe. It's really chilled out, even some of the records well into Texas yesterday. Friday's jet stream, a big bowl or trough of low pressure, and when you see this, it means it's going to be quite cold. In fact, it's encompassing much of the country. What kind of cold air? Look at these readings. Yeah, it's gotten cold, but you know what's sort of disconcerting to me? Most of the cold air, it's still in Canada. Minus teens, minus 20s. Many times when you get this full dump of Canadian air, what happens is it's sort of mild up into Canada. Mild meaning some teens and maybe some single digits, but this time around, we just had one piece of the cold air that broke off, and that one went right down through the plains and, yeah, bypassed the plains straight down to the Rio Grande. Teens all the way down into Mexico. Wow. Don't see that too often, but yeah, that has happened. Of course, there are some mountains in Mexico, too, some pretty rugged mountains, and it does get cold there. Looking in the southeast, 30s, plenty of moisture. Thumbs up for the snow that's going to be coming on in, too. Notice the eastern coast, though, our first front sort of stalling out. Raleigh, Durham, no change in temperature. Same temperature as it was at this time yesterday. Getting a little bit cooler in Atlanta. It's getting colder back toward Jackson. Snowing at Jackson. Snowing at New Orleans. No, not quite yet. I'll show you why. Over to the west coast. Everybody's looking cold. Is there any positive numbers in this whole map? Yeah, just a couple. So overall, colder weather pattern. Currently, the white indicating the snow blowing around the back edge of this low and starting to form through Louisiana into Mississippi. We'll be heading into Alabama. Actually, it's snowing at Mobile right now. Problem up into the plains, though. Not so much snow coming down out of the clouds right now, but yeah, there's some snow on the ground. It's blowing around, reducing visibilities, but also it's the extreme cold. We talked about this last week. I've been off for a few days, but we're discussing that this Arctic air was coming on down, and it looks like it panned out right on target here where some of the wind chills are as low as minus 60. I saw a few of those in North Dakota. So incredibly cold air, dangerously cold right through the plains. Wind chill in Dallas, it's 0. It's 0 back to around Lubbock. 12 in Arkansas, 16 at Nashville. Just a cold day today. Check this out, though. Probably one of the roughest readings is 14 degrees at Brownsville, normally a mecca of mild weather. Wind chill forecast. This is pretty rough, minus 40 to minus 60. Let's take the eraser and add that in there. That's what we need to do. That's how cold it has been, extremely cold air. Well, blizzard conditions are going to persist to the north, to the south, developing today. It's all the way up through midnight, and beyond midnight, snow covering the deep south, right up through the Appalachians. Let's show you just a little bit of that as we take a look at areas of the east. And you know what? We'll see what's going on here. I have this sinking feeling I put the wrong program in. Yes, I did it. Let's go back to the forecast. And you know what? I'm going to have this great looking radar. I meant to show it here. Oops. It's going to show you some of the snow in the south. Anyhow, here's our forecast from Birmingham all the way up to Chattanooga. Some snow coming on in. Where's the heaviest snow going to fall? In the mountains, southern Appalachians, and heading on up. Although there's going to be a stripe of heavier snow right where that rain snow line is. That's probably going to be somewhere into Alabama and also North Georgia. You can see the snow. It's going to be raining in Philly and Baltimore, New York tomorrow. Eventually, some of that's going to swing over to snow, especially farther to the south, especially northern western suburbs of Baltimore and D.C. You know how it works. Lived in Baltimore for quite a number of years, and it always seems the northern western suburbs got some. We'll have to watch your forecast. But still raining in Boston as your wind is blowing on in from the ocean. Snowfall amounts, this is the way it's looking, all the way down to the Gulf Coast. That radar, it's coming up.
Introducing something revolutionary from Sunbeam. Toast. Perfect toast. And it's It's available from Sunbeam's new Toast Logic toaster. It's the only toaster with a microchip that actually adjusts your toasting time, so your toast is never too light or too dark. You see, the problem with most old-fashioned toasters is one day your toast can be too light, the next too dark, the next flambe. That's because the power levels of your home change from moment to moment. Say someone is using a blow dryer or making coffee. That means there's less power for you to toast. Toast Logic simply adjusts your toasting time, so you get perfect toast. You can see it happening, time after time. A new Toast Logic toaster, only from Sunbeam. Just call this toll-free number for more information in the store nearest you. And introduce yourself to toast. Perfect toast. Sunbeam. Now there's a bright idea.
And now it's time for the Michelin Drivers Report, brought to you by Michelin and your participating Michelin dealers.
Well, the Southeast, how about this? Our man on the scene, Bill Keneely. Yeah, he's going to be telling us about some of the snow, where it's developing, and where we think that rain-snow line's going to be. Could be an interesting rush hour around Atlanta and into Birmingham, some snow developing. How about New Orleans? Why isn't it snowing in New Orleans? Let's show you on the radar. And has something to do with Lake Pontchartrain, and you know why? We're looking at a northeasterly wind blowing across that lake. The water temperature, it's still mild relatively. New Orleans, south side of the lake, so it's raining and sleeting. You'll probably see some cold air coming in. And look at this snow and sleet spreading across Alabama. Oh, yeah. Much more about this in a minute. And we'll also talk more about the blizzard conditions to the north. That's all coming up on WeatherScope right after your local conditions. 3 more minutes.
At Michelin, we believe a tire that's just good in the rain isn't good enough. The Michelin X1, with a 6-year, unlimited mileage tread life warranty, is the one tire that gives you better wet traction than any rain tire, plus Michelin control in most driving conditions. After all, it hasn't rained that much in years. The Michelin X1.
Find Michelin tires at this dealer near you, because so much is riding on your tires.
WeatherScope. It's all the weather you want. Every 30 minutes on the hour and half hour on the Weather Channel. This is your local forecast. Weather information you can plan on. Only on the Weather Channel. This is a special edition of WeatherScope, comprehensive severe weather coverage from the Weather Channel.
Good afternoon. Bill Keneely with you in the Weather Channel Forecast Center. Mother Nature getting a little bit ahead of herself. We have, 3 days to go until the official start of wintertime, and yet we have snow falling now in western and southern Alabama, of all places. And that snow has eyes on Birmingham, Atlanta, and then the Appalachians later on today and overnight tonight. Let's show you some of the scenes from earlier today. Take you back to Fayetteville, Arkansas. This is up in the land of the Razorbacks in northwest Arkansas. Saw some glazing there in the headlights. Not a whole lot of snow fell, but enough fell. Believe me, that guy will attest to it. A lot of spin-outs and a lot of accidents yesterday in northwest Arkansas. The bad news is it's not very warm. It's still in the mid-teens, so nothing is melting today, even though that snow is very light. All right, let's set it all up, see what's happening out here. Look at our current map, and you can see there's still the floodgates wide open for bitter cold Arctic air to invade over the Southland. There's our big low vortex, and that's helping to drive that air south, also clockwise flow around the high pressure area. The damage has been done. 19 below last night in Pueblo, Colorado. How about 6 above in El Paso, Texas, as the skies cleared and the wind died down. Let's look at our water vapor imagery now. This is showing that rather sharp U-shaped trough of low pressure. We're tapping subtropical moisture now out of the Tropic of Cancer area, and that moisture is coming on northbound. Then you add the element of a low. There's an upper low coming down, and as that does work its way down, that'll further help to coax that moisture farther inland to Alabama and Georgia and the Carolinas and lift that air. That's the mechanism to trigger the rain and then snow far enough up the Piedmont. Here's our analysis right now. The leading edge of cooler air in north central Florida, the leading edge of Arctic air in northwestern Georgia, down to New Orleans. We're seeing reports of sleet now in New Orleans, rain mixed in, by the way, as well as Gulfport and Biloxi, and then you get over to Mobile, and it's all snow. 34 and snowing right now in Mobile, Alabama. Temperature is 39 in Birmingham. I think you have effectively leveled off. From here on out, you are head downward, and I think fairly quickly once the snow moves in the next hour or two. 41 in Atlanta. We had some sun earlier. It is glimmering. It's fading too, folks. It's not gonna last. We already have that high thin overcast, and look at that little window of dry air that's just collapsing in northwestern Georgia. And from here on out, those clouds are going to lower and thicken, and they will eventually yield snow, I think, in metro Atlanta. You can see our satellite picture, the color-enhanced version. The areas in the blue, especially the dark blue and the orange, these are indicative of areas of taller clouds, and they correlate pretty well with areas of heavy rainfall. Chilly rain at that right now. Temperature even in the Florida Panhandle, upper 30s, and rain falling into Crestview, Florida, as well as in Milton, Florida. Also, pressures are now starting to fall pretty rapidly in Georgia, eastern Alabama, and North Florida. That just tells us as our low takes shape, we're thinking the track is going to be something like this. So Atlanta, for instance, and Birmingham especially, will be far enough into that colder regime of air to keep it pretty much all snow. Radar depiction at this hour showing rainfall moving up the Georgia Piedmont, getting into Macon and also Columbus right now. Then we have there's Birmingham, by the way, the snow and the sleet rapidly coming in I-20 from the west. We have snow falling now in Meridian and Jackson. Some of the snow pretty heavy, by the way, down in Natchez, Mississippi. And incidentally, this is our depiction of some sleet now showing up around Gulfport and near New Orleans, extending up into southwest Alabama. We have on the phone right now Lee Helms. He is the Director of Emergency Management in the Clanton, Alabama area. Mr. Helms, good day.
Good day, Bill.
And how are you guys preparing for this onslaught of winter time?
Well, Bill, we actually began yesterday. Governor James activated our Emergency Operations Center, and we began working with state agencies to take care of some preventive measures along highways and interstates in the state. Unfortunately, as recently as February of this year, of '96, we were dealing with a very similar winter storm situation. So we've identified some potential areas where we may have problems with traffic and congestion, and also some areas where we may need to provide public shelter, and we've pre-positioned some National Guard assets, engineering-type equipment and personnel to be able to try to respond as rapidly as possible to the winter storm conditions.
I assume some of the big concerns are northeast Alabama and maybe down towards the Mount Cheaha area where there's a little more terrain involved. There could be some power outages as well. Are you guys trying to deal with that possibility?
Yes, we definitely are. As a matter of fact, a lot of the assets that I mentioned with the engineering assets of the Alabama National Guard have been deployed into that area. So we are working very closely with the local officials through the local emergency management organizations to respond very rapidly to power outages and public sheltering possibilities to help the public if we have a severe situation, which we anticipate.
I understand now it's 34 degrees and snowing in Mobile. That's the observation we get. Have you heard about the roads down there? Are they doing okay right now?
Yes, we have. I was just talking with some local officials in the Mobile area and 100 miles north of Mobile along the Interstate 65 area. They are experiencing pretty heavy snow. Conditions are still okay, but if we continue to have that type of sleet and snow, then we expect to have some problems with some bridges and areas there. But the Department of Transportation officials are aware and are working on these in these areas as we speak.
Okay, Lee Holmes with the state of Alabama, thank you very much. Hopefully Mobile gets snow, but it doesn't stick too heavily. But I'd say, as Lee mentioned, Montgomery, Clanton, Birmingham, right up that I-65 corridor, be on your guard. Let's see how much snow we anticipate for the southeast and into Alabama, probably on the order of 1 to 3 inches. But remember now, the nature of the snow will be heavy and it will be wet. Mount Cheaha, by the way, right about here, a little bit east of Birmingham, that could cause some problems for travel on 20 out of Atlanta through Birmingham, heading over towards the Jackson area. Heavier snow is expected. Winter storm watches up, by the way, in Asheville, North Carolina, and in North Georgia could see 3 to 6 inches as the snow will move in. And it looks like, by the way, it's going to be quite a burst for maybe about 5 hours tonight. Well, here's our depiction in the upper Midwest. It's real nasty. We have video to show you taken in the Twin Cities area. Then we'll go to Fargo, North Dakota. Minneapolis video shot earlier today. Just, well, the rush hour, take my word, was not pretty. Fargo, North Dakota, what you can see is pretty. For travelers, it is anything but. Visibility cut down to near zero. Still a lot of wind. We've had road closures, including I-29, the north-south route. There's your Twin Cities. And again, this is earlier today, probably either 94 or 35. These two major interstates cross in the downtown area. And once again, we continue to see blowing and drifting snow. By the way, wind chill values in Fargo and Grand Forks running around 50 below zero as we speak. So please heed the warnings. Only venture out if you must. There's a lot coming up down the road, especially up the coast later on today and overnight tonight, especially. For all that and more, here's Mike Bono.
Thanks a lot, Bill. And that snow, as you were saying, looks like it's going to move up the East Coast inland and maybe even threaten some of the coastal areas and the big towns. Let's take a look at the forecast right now for the remainder of the afternoon. And we're noticing that high pressure is really dominating the west, but Santa Ana winds have been strong and even some fires burning in the southwest portion of the nation. But we still have some snow to deal with in the south, as Bill was just telling you. But look at the way it starts moving on up to the north and northeast. Interior New York State and Pennsylvania by tomorrow coming in rather snowy. Looks like Philadelphia and New York will be spared the trouble for the most part. But cold air really keeps anything on the ground in the south that falls tonight on the ground all day tomorrow. Precipitation heaviest east of the mountains, but a lot of that will be snow in the mountains and to the west of the mountains. Of course, your snow in the Great Lakes coming down kind of hard right now. Still mild. It's in the 50s in Cape Cod and around Long Island right now, but very chilly lows tomorrow. And then that cold air starts to move on toward the east as we go on up until the up-and-coming weekend. Some 60s in Texas and the San Fernando Valley, but then Sunday and Monday, more cold air as we're leading up to Christmas. Watch out. Lake effect snow squalls for Friday, then an icy mix around Spokane and Yakima maybe with snow in the Rockies. Then notice the way this boundary sets up by Sunday. More Arctic air coming in by that time.
failed me.
Wasn't our fault.
We had a Subaru Outback.
Outback? Had better gas mileage than our Cherokee.
Held a turn tighter than our Blazer.
Brake better than our Explorer.
Silence, fools. Just tell me what you need to catch him.
Our own Outback would be nice.
With a CD player and leather.
Subaru Outback, the world's first sport utility wagon.
Visit your nearest Subaru dealer today to experience the beauty of all-wheel drive.
Stay ahead of winter weather. Watch the winter weather update at 50 past the hour on the Weather Channel. Our team of experts continuously monitor winter's fast-moving weather systems and bring you an up-to-the-minute forecast every hour. One complete report that lets you know when and where temperatures will plunge, where snowstorms are developing, how much snow they'll bring, where travel may be dangerous, and when the storm will end. The winter weather update at 50 past the hour, only on the Weather Channel.
People are talking to people. They'll simply say it. You won't believe it.
You can believe it. Sprint's great dime-a-minute rate just got better. Not just a little better. No way. Sprint said,
let's give them something to talk about.
And this is it. Call for Sprint Cents and you'll pay just 10 cents a minute, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to the number you call most often. So call now and start talking. And when you sign up for Sprint Cents, there's no confusion about what you're paying. It's always just 10 cents a minute on all your other state-to-state calls to anywhere in the country. Every evening, every night, and all weekend long.
Let's give them something to talk about.
On top of that, you'll get 10% cash back after your first year with Sprint. So call now. Get 10 cents a minute all day to the number you call most. Call now.
1-800-913-9725. Winter. Coming cold, crippling ice storms, devastating floods, paralyzing blizzards. This winter, know what may lie ahead. Watch the Weather Channel. Over 60 meteorologists continuously monitor and track winter's volatile weather using the latest forecasting technology to give you advance warning. And when winter does its worst, we're at our best, bringing you comprehensive storm coverage and live on-scene reports. The Weather Channel. Depend on us to keep you ahead of the storm.
This Men's Journal Minute is sponsored by Suzuki, makers of the Suzuki Sport. What an SUV ought to be.
If you're heading out to your favorite ski resort for an altitude adjustment, take note of snow levels. Hello everybody, I'm Andy Mill for Men's Journal magazine. Whether putting one foot in front of the other, speeding down packed powder ski slopes, or just taking your wheels to higher places, accumulate an awareness of snow levels. They're defined as the elevation down to where snow is falling or is forecasted to fall. Those numbers can affect you, your sport, and your safety. For example, snow levels at 10,000 feet mean it is snowing at or above that altitude, raining or other precipitation below. Accumulations usually increase the higher you go. Lower snow levels, say 4,000 feet, mean more widespread flake action and accumulation. Beware on the long and windy road through winter. Stay conscious of snow levels from the slopes to your travel plans. I'm Andy Mill for Men's Journal magazine.
So you can't keep up with your old ma, huh?
Not with this headache.
Where's your Tylenol? It's Advil now. You switched? I like the way Advil works.
On tough pain, 2 Advil work better than any 2 Tylenol.
Welcome to the 90s, Mom.
Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
Also from the makers of Advil. Try Advil Cold and Sinus. Relieves nasal congestion, sore throat, sinus pain, aches, fever, but won't make you drowsy. Knocks out your symptoms, not you.
Advil Cold and Sinus, advanced formula for colds.
Used to be just one way to get through an icy winter.
Walk like a penguin.
But now there's a better way. Safe Step Ice Melter, so you don't have to.
Walk like a penguin.
Safe Step won't harm grass, won't stain carpets, and works even below zero. Safe Step Ice Melter, tough on ice, gentle on everything else. Pick some up today, or else you might.
Walk like a penguin.
Look for Safe Step Ice Melter at a store or janitorial supply distributor near you.
The Weather Channel website. Up-to-date forecasts for over 1,600 cities worldwide. www.weather.com. No place on Earth has better weather.
Just like the Star of Bethlehem, we have some brilliant lights to help us understand more about the Savior.
The Bible is a powerful witness that Jesus is the Christ. And so is this book, the Book of Mormon. It's another testament of Jesus Christ. It's a book of scripture, a companion to the Bible, and in it are Christ's teachings that he gave to the people that lived on the American continent anciently. If you want to enrich your understanding of the life and mission of Jesus Christ this Christmas, I'd like to give you a free copy of the Book of Mormon. Just call this toll-free number and you'll receive a free book, and there's no obligation. Call now for your free copy of the Book of Mormon, another testament of Jesus Christ. I've read it, and it has greatly blessed my life. I hope you'll call.
This is your local forecast, and stay tuned. The national outlook is just ahead in our 5-day planner.
Okay, it's time for the 5-day business planner. And let's take a look at the pattern of a snowy time of it in the south. And we're looking at a very wintry pattern right now in the southern part of the United States. Let's go to that right now, that wintry south pattern. And we'll take a look at it as we go through the motions. First of all, we're going to look at the national satellite photograph and see that there's a trough, a definite trough in the middle of the nation. And back on into the southeast, winds are backing, and that is a problem. Because then we're looking at that moisture coming up from the tropics and then that cold air filtering in. They all come together. You can see the backing of the winds around closer to the south, bringing the moisture up from the Gulf, cold air clashing with it, and you've got a wintry problem. Let's take a look at that right now, and we'll see how the progression goes. As we notice the jet stream dipping, now there's a ridge in the west which is protecting you from everything except maybe fog, and a ridge in the east protecting you from freezing precipitation. It's been raining and foggy in the northeast, but the cold air moves in, an upper air disturbance moves along, and the trough develops, low pressure coming out of the Gulf of Mexico, which doesn't usually happen that far south with wintry precipitation. It's been snowing all the way down to New Orleans. The Naval Air Station is still getting a mixture, although going to rain at Moissan Airport. Mobile with snow, the snow developing around Jackson, Miss, and up into parts of Alabama this afternoon, northwest Georgia, maybe Atlanta picking up an inch or two, possibly more, and the Appalachians and Piedmont get the wintry precipitation overnight. Let's take a look at the map now, the forecast, as we go on into the late afternoon. Low pressure coming up on Panama City, Florida, but you don't have to worry about snow there, although I couldn't totally rule out a flurry as that cold air really deepens and comes on down tomorrow. But low pressure mainly hugging the coastal plain. The snows in the Appalachian crest down to Tennessee, North Carolina by the end of the day, and all the way down to the deep south, as we could see Atlanta right about on the southeastern edge. Blizzard warnings are still up in South Dakota, a ground blizzard. It's not really snowing, but the snow is still driving in those heavy winds and wind chills down to 60 below. North Dakota similar, and in Minnesota, some light snow mixed with blowing snow. Santa Ana winds have been a problem, even bringing fires to the area of Southern California. Third day in a row of strong Santa Ana winds and dry conditions. Some snowflakes coming down the Rocky Mountains, but the big show is in the east, tapering off to flurries around Atlanta tomorrow morning, but getting heavier in maybe Knoxville, Tri-Cities to Asheville, and right on up the interior, but the coastline, not too bad. The immediate Atlantic coastline coming in as rain, although late tomorrow that could change. Precipitation mostly on the Gulf Coast of Florida with up to an inch, but the snows in the interior and the Piedmont, Atlanta, watch out. It'll be on the ground all day tomorrow as those cold temperatures move in. The highs in the 20s around Atlanta, GA, and Birmingham, and those 20s finally get into New York and Philadelphia by the time the weekend comes. That's high temperatures. But by Monday, new cold air appears in the upper Midwest and the Rockies. Snow showers in the lakes for Friday, and we're looking at a new boundary coming on down Saturday and Sunday. More Arctic air coming up by that time.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man, does whatever a spider can.
With the spider-like traction of all-wheel drive, the new Subaru 2.5 GT can take you places those European sports sedans simply can't.
Here comes Spider-Man.
Mere mortals.
Look out, here comes Spider-Man.
Visit your nearest Subaru dealer today to experience the beauty of all-wheel drive.
It's out there, waiting on your steps, your sidewalk, your driveway. It laughs at rock salt. It's ice. It fears only heat. Driveway heat from Presto. Each concentrated pellet heats up like a furnace to melt up to 4 times more ice than rock salt with no messy residue. Put your driveway in the Prestone zone with driveway heat and kiss your ice goodbye.
Prestone Driveway Heat Concentrated Ice Melter melts up to 4 times more ice than rock salt.
Stay ahead of winter with one complete forecast. The Winter Weather Update at 50 past the hour only on the Weather Channel.
And as promised, it's time now for the holiday countdown, which is sponsored by the Dremel Multi-Pro tool. Don't settle for some 2-bit Christmas gift. 7 days till Christmas, and when we were back around 10 or 12 days, we weren't looking at a whole lot of winter. There was plenty of snow on the ground in the Rockies, the Sierra, places that usually get it, but it was very warm. But now, about 5 days later, oh my goodness, is it ever cold. And the cold all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. We've had snow falling in New Orleans this morning, Mobile, palm trees mixed with a little bit of snow, and the northwest corner of Georgia. By the end of the day, it should be in there. Temperatures are cold west of the Mississippi, filtering into the lakes, eventually getting to the East Coast. So this white Christmas probability may just be picking up and moving southward between now and Christmas. This is the historical probability, but looks like some folks are getting some new snow. On WeatherScope, we'll have direct reports out of the Gulf states.
Presenting the Dremel Multi-Pro. You cut, Dremel cuts. You sharpen, Dremel sharpens. You polish, Dremel polishes. You drill, Dremel drills. You clean, Dremel cleans. You sand, Dremel sands. You grind, Dremel grinds. You hammer. Did I mention we cut? The Dremel Multi-Pro. With up to 30,000 RPM, it has the speed you need to power through hundreds of jobs. Now with 5-year warranty.
Your day started at 4:30 a.m. You diced, sliced, minced, mashed, steamed, stewed, and baked. All for this one special moment.
Could you pass the stuffing, please?
Too bad you were too tired to be a part of it. This year, let Boston Market prepare your holiday meal. We've got Boston Hearth hams glazed with honey, rotisserie turkey breasts, and side dishes like mashed potatoes made from scratch. Boston Market, because you deserve a holiday.
Look for a new Boston Market location near you.
Introducing the amazing patented O-Ratchet that lets you do hundreds of jobs quickly and easily. Even expensive deep sockets can't reach a nut on a long bolt, but O-Ratchet lets any length bolt pass through the hollow hex drive. O-Ratchet's low-profile head easily reaches into tight spots, so it's great for automotive use. Build a fence, assemble exercise equipment. It's ideal for most household jobs. O-Ratchet comes with a lifetime replacement warranty. The 12-piece O-Ratchet with carrying case, only $29. $49.99. As a TV bonus, you get this pass-through 3-inch extension and 5/16 socket, perfect for recessed applications. The patented O-Ratchet. Get an extra set for garage or car. We know you don't have one because there's never been anything like it. Order now.
For rush delivery, get your credit card ready and call 1-800-543-6800. That's 1-800-543-6800. Or send your check or money order to the address on your screen. Call now.
Available at Sears and Sears Hardware stores.
WeatherScope. It's all the weather you want. Every 30 minutes on the hour and half hour on the Weather Channel. This is your local forecast. Weather information you can plan on. Only on the Weather Channel. This is a special edition of WeatherScope, comprehensive severe weather coverage from the Weather Channel.
Good afternoon. Bill Keneely with you in the Weather Channel Forecast Center. We have bitter cold air blasting the upper Midwest. We'll be talking live to the folks in Minneapolis, St. Paul. Right now, though, let's talk about everything coming together and not a very pretty piecing together of a potential snowstorm over the southeast. Here's our current analysis. All this bitter cold air that's been welled up in Canada. This is just incredible cold air. It's all coming down now. The floodgates are wide open. Temperatures are falling rapidly. Overnight last night, we had lows of nearly 20 below zero in Pueblo, Colorado, and down to about 5 above in El Paso, Texas. And that is without snow cover, mind you. As this air comes down and we get some snow laid down, it is going to be pretty darn ridiculous over parts of the Tennessee, Ohio Valley, and eventually the southeast over the next couple of days. Zooming in, we have Arctic air starting to spill into northwest Georgia down to New Orleans. We now have snow reported in Mobile, Alabama, snow as well in Gulfport, some heavier snow in Jackson, and getting into western Alabama now. This is some snow and some sleet now starting to show up around the Tuscaloosa area, and it's going to be just a nasty picture driving along Interstate 20. Temperatures 39 in Birmingham. I think you're pretty well capped off. You're going to start dropping from here on out. 29 Nashville, 37 Houston. Thankfully, this air is fairly dry. This is going to save you guys. The low is going to track from the Florida Big Bend area up the coast, and there's enough cold air in Atlanta and Birmingham, I think, to bring snow in later on today and tonight. Quick check on the satellite picture now showing our higher cloud tops in the areas in the dark blue and the yellow shading, and these are correlating with areas of heavier rainfall in the Florida Panhandle, as well as the Georgia Piedmont, and again into southeast Alabama. Check out now, some of this is aloft, some of this is not hitting the ground, but believe me, what does fall is going to fall frozen in Birmingham and eventually Anniston, Alabama. Interstate 20 is going to be very difficult. It is snowing in Mobile, Alabama right now too, and even New Orleans getting some sleet at times.
The back edge of the snow is already into northwest Mississippi, so hopefully this system will be progressive, but needless to say, it's going to be pretty nasty tonight and tomorrow in Birmingham and Atlanta. Heavier snow should fall north of Atlanta in the southern Appalachians. Could see as much as 3 to 6 inches of snowfall. We mentioned the bitter cold air in the upper Midwest. We have video to show you now in the Twin Cities. And once again, it's been pretty rough here the last couple of days as we continue. I guess we're going over here now to depict just bitter cold air. Okay, there we are. And again, we have on the line now Mike Gady. He is in Minneapolis, St. Paul, braving the elements. Mike, good afternoon.
Hello, Bill.
How you guys holding up?
Well, this is wintertime here in Minnesota, and we wait for it to come all year, and by golly, it finally made it. It's really not a good day to come up and visit us here in the Twin Cities or the upper Midwest. We have strong winds, sub-zero temperatures, wind chills around 50 below. In western Minnesota, most of the major roads are closed into the Dakotas because of blizzard conditions. Most of the truck stops and hotels are jam-packed with people, and they're running out of food, and they're trying to panic. And 80 school districts in western Minnesota are closed today. I don't know about the Dakotas, but I'm sure that quite a few are closed there. And our roads here in the Twin Cities metro area, this morning's commute was a parking lot. We call it the greasy skid stuff. And we all made it into work, albeit late, but we're hanging on here in the frozen tundra.
Okay, Mike Gady in Minneapolis, St. Paul. Mike, thank you very much. Again, we're talking about the arrival of wintertime on Saturday evening. I guess it's kind of a joke up there in the Twin Cities, though, as it seems to arrive a little bit earlier up in the Great White North. All right, let's take it back to our maps now. I want to show you, again, the snowfall and also the blowing and drifting of snow that Mike talked about. What's happening here? Big area of low pressure up over Thunder Bay and Lake Superior. Big high building in, the clockwise flow around the high, the counterclockwise rotation around that low, and the net effect, a lot of strong north and northwest winds. Mike mentioned it's getting windier in the Twin Cities. The problems are out of Minneapolis heading up towards Fargo, up on 94 and the north-south route 35 out of Duluth heading down towards Des Moines, Iowa. That is where the headaches lie, as we have winds gusting 20 to 45, even 50 miles per hour. Actual air temperature, a mere 9. Thank you, Mike, for enduring that for us in the Twin Cities. 4 below in Fargo. As Mike mentioned, some major travel problems up on the Red River Valley in eastern parts of the Dakotas and likewise in western Minnesota. Fargo, North Dakota, wind chill 54 below zero, 51 below zero is our wind chill in the Sioux Falls area, and 15 below a veritable bargain, I guess, in the Twin Cities. But I think, if anything, as that high starts to come down, we may get a little windier for a while in the Twin Cities today and overnight tonight. Snowfall expected, a little bit of light snow, as Mike showed you, some light snow falling behind him. And again, everything pinwheeling counterclockwise around low pressure, and that's going to be the floodgate. That's going to open them right open for the snow and the cold air to follow suit over the southeast. This system is not done. It's going to have a legacy unto itself as snow is going to fall up the coast, maybe not in the big cities, but just inland. And for more on that with our forecast, let's turn it back to Mike in the studio.
Thanks a lot, Bill, and we have plenty of adverse weather around the nation. One of the problems we have is Santa Ana winds, and they have been really kicking up quite a bit in Southern California. Santa Ana winds fanning wildfires, sending them out of control. The fire started when 2 500,000-volt power lines were blown to the ground by the dry winds. Over 200 residents were forced to evacuate their homes as the wildfires raged on. Most of the active flames died down overnight in Southern California, but hot spots could be fanned back to life. We have some strong Santa Ana winds again today. That is very dramatic video of a dry and windy situation in Southern California that just keeps going on and on. We'll take a look at the map and blame high pressure, that cold high that brought it down to 35 below in Gunnison, Colorado this morning, but driving the winds over the passes and out toward the Pacific Ocean, taking the temperature, dew points way down. The temperatures are up. The humidities are way down, and there you go. That's your problem. No, not really cloudiness or moisture in sight, so it doesn't take long to dry out the vegetation there in Southern California. But we have a trough digging in the central part of the nation, whereas ahead of it, the moisture is coming up from the Gulf of Mexico And you've got your problems. That snowy scenario now moving finally into Alabama, Tuscaloosa, getting a little bit of snow. And the snows, as Bill was telling you, blizzard warnings in parts of North and South Dakota today, even though the snow's not necessarily falling from the sky. You've got milder conditions in the east and northeast. In fact, no snow in New England, but the snows in the Appalachians will be mounting up through midnight, and some lake effect snows in Muskegon, Michigan. Maybe a spot of rain on the Cape Cod area, but it's mostly fog in the northeast today. Let's take a look at the forecast map now as we go on through the rest of the afternoon. See big high pressure off the coast and a ridge aloft too, keeping the mild air in temporarily into the east. Now into Alabama, Mississippi, the snow continues to march on in. Birmingham stands to get several inches of snow out of this. And North Georgia coming on in, chiming in by the end of the daylight hours and into the evening, could get socked with a period of heavy snow. Then the southern Appalachians, Tri-Cities area to Asheville, Roanoke, you name it, on up. But with any luck, New York, Philadelphia, Atlantic City may just get rain out of this one. But as the low moves out later tomorrow, yeah, it may turn over to snow even along the coastline. Boston probably last. Over an inch of rain falling in the Florida Panhandle. We have those snows that go all the way into the deep south and just starting up in the Rockies again. Very chilly upper high temperatures today, right around 0 in spots, but the east still 50-ish, Long Island up to Cape Cod. Another cold night tonight, and the west beginning to recover temperature-wise in many areas where it's not foggy. Cold air plunging and staying below freezing all day long in New York City, maybe Friday and Saturday, but then some recoveries in the temperatures after that. But here it comes again in Montana. The lake effect snow squalls in the northeast Friday, but a mixture in the northwest. As snow gathers Saturday, you can tell there's another upper-level trough coming through, a boundary, the 23rd, 2 days before Christmas. Oh my, looks like more white Christmases than you would have expected. More on the cold weather and the storms coming up.
A parent worries every day. It's a tough job to protect him from all the things that could harm him. But you have a partner in Lifesaver. We're always on guard to protect him against things that even you can't see. You can't be in every room, but that doesn't matter when we are. Lifesaver has been protecting families for over 20 years. Could you trust him to anyone else?
Lifesaver products are available at a dealer near you.
This is your local forecast. Information you can plan on, because now we show it on the 8th of every hour. Local on the 8s on the Weather Channel.
With the American Psychic Club. You asked for the truth. The American Psychic Club is America's only psychic network with true, live, caring psychics. Here's what our callers think.
I needed advice on my relationship, and I called and got all the right answers. If you're looking for a friend you can trust for advice, you should call.
Convinced yet? Join now and receive your first month's charter membership along with your personal power crystal absolutely free. And that's not all. You will also receive a free monthly reading, free monthly gifts, and the newsletter American Psychic Advisor. Free!
The psychic was right. He proposed.
As a bartender, I'm often asked for advice. But when I need advice, I turn to my psychic.
That's the American Psychic Club. Just great, honest advice. There are no hidden fees or catches. You won't regret calling. So call the number on your screen now.
Know what to expect. Watch our 5-day planner 20 minutes after every hour on the Weather Channel. No place on Earth has better weather.
Well, we're looking at some stormy weather in store for folks in Europe, and we expect some snow to be falling all the way through Poland into Bulgaria as well as Russia. Now, Italy looking much better. May see some clouds rolling on into Spain and Portugal and France for that matter, and look out for some rain approaching the region in London. Not so much on Thursday, but possibly by Friday into the weekend. Temperatures are going to be quite chilly across Russia. High temperatures only reaching into the 20s. A little milder for Spain. London will see the clouds increase, and low 40s is what we're going for highs. Mid-40s in Brussels for Thursday, and a chance of rain in Madrid with a high near 50. Dry near 50 in Paris and partly cloudy skies. Low 30s in Stockholm and cloudy in Vienna. Well, we have some stormy weather in store for the lower 48 and some really cold weather. We'll tell you all about it coming up.
Okay, now let's take
With a dry, hacking cough, you're not exactly popular.
You sound terrible.
Good thing there's Robitussin Maximum Strength. You can't buy a stronger cough medicine without a prescription, and it's from the brand recommended by more doctors. So it helps things get back to normal. Lucky you. Robitussin Maximum Strength. Relief for your worst cough.
Now, from the Weather Channel, the most violent winds on Earth. Nature's greatest spectacle has become our biggest fascination. And now the experts at the Weather Channel have put together the ultimate tornado home video set. Call 1-800-626-9477 to order the Tornado Collection. Target Tornado explores some of the greatest tornadoes of all time with rare, dramatic storm chaser footage. The Chase takes you for a wild ride with some of the most renowned storm chasers of all time. Hear their stories, share their adventures. Tornadoes 1995 features never-before-seen footage of the most awesome twisters of the year. These scenes were created by nature, not Hollywood. Spectacular footage, eyewitness accounts. 3 of the Weather Channel's best for one low price. Dial 1-800-626-9477 or send check or money order for $44.95 plus $4.95 shipping and handling to the address on your screen. Order now.
This seasonal solution is sponsored by Independent Insurance Agents of America. Have you called your independent agent lately?
Tornadoes can strike every month of the year and in almost every state. It's best to be prepared and know what to do when killer weather strikes. Make a written or videotaped inventory of your household possessions and property, and be sure you have adequate insurance coverage. Store this inventory information with your insurance policy in a safe place away from your home. Assemble a disaster kit, including items to ensure your family's comfort and health, like medications, a battery-powered radio and batteries, a flashlight, canned food, a can opener, and several gallons of bottled water. Stay tuned to weather watches and warnings and be alert to worsening conditions. Identify a safe location in your home, a basement, center hallway, bathroom or closet away from windows and on the lowest floor. Conduct periodic tornado drills. You can increase your chances of surviving severe weather if you know what to do when the time comes to take action.
Freedom of choice, the foundation of the American marketplace. When searching for insurance to protect yourself, your family, your property, or your business, an independent insurance agent can offer you a lot more choices. Independent agents are free to help you shop around. They're experienced in navigating the marketplace to find the best coverage for the right price. Look for the big I and call today.
Independent agents representing consumers for over a century. Visit your local independent agent today.
Introducing something revolutionary from Sunbeam. Toast. Perfect toast. And it's available from Sunbeam's new Toast Logic toaster. It's the only toaster with a microchip that actually adjusts your toasting time, so your toast is never too light or too dark. You see, the problem with most old-fashioned toasters is one day your toast can be too light, the next too dark, the next flambe. That's because the power levels of your home change from moment to moment. Say someone is using a blow dryer or making coffee. That means there's less power for you to toast. Toast Logic simply adjusts your toasting time, so you get perfect toast. You can see it happening, time after time. A new Toast Logic toaster, only from Sunbeam. Just call this toll-free number for more information in the store nearest you. And introduce yourself to toast. Perfect toast. Sunbeam. Now There's a bright idea.
Next week on WeatherScope Focus. 1996 was a year of blistering cold, violent winds, devastating floods, and dangerous hurricanes. Join the Weather Channel as we revisit the weather events that made 1996 a year that will not be forgotten. Watch 96 Year in Review, all next week on WeatherScope Focus, on the hour and half hour on the Weather Channel.
Give the gift of adventure. Storm Chaser by Warren Fadley, the new book from the Weather Channel. Grab a copy and hold on tight. Available at bookstores everywhere.
Hi, Bob Vila here to show you a unique new Craftsman tool no home should be without. Craftsman Handy Cut Utility Cutters, the one tool you can count on for all kinds of tough cutting jobs. Craftsman Handy Cut does the job of utility knives, carpet knives, shears, shop cutters, and more. Look how tough it is to make a good cut through this damaged garden hose with a utility knife. Craftsman Handy Cut gets it done in one clean cut. It's a terrific small branch and shrub pruner. Shears or shop cutters can't trim vinyl flooring as easily as the Craftsman Handy Cut. Use the Craftsman Handy Cut to cut nearly any common household material, including rope, plastic, leather, vinyl, and rubber. Call now, and you can order your Craftsman Handy Cut for only $19.99. And remember, when you buy from Sears, your satisfaction is guaranteed or your money back.
To order your Craftsman Handy Cut, get your Sears card or the credit card ready and call 1-800-342-3838. That's 1-800-342-3838. Call right now.
This is your local forecast. Information you can plan on, because now we show it on the 8th of every hour. Local on the 8s on the Weather Channel.